I don't know what AJ talking about. He about to end up like Nate Robb. That's what he about to end up like.
Yeah.
He playing around.
Night, Nate.
Speaking of Nate
He end up
Robb,
like Nate.
wow.
Nate
Wow,
let us down, man.
He let us down big time. But he learned a valuable lesson.
Mm-hmm.
One.
Just because they white, you can't beat them, bro.
That's one.
I've said that a lot of times. But number two,
keep playing with the white boys if you want to.
A lot of professional athletes always feel like because I went pro in something else, I'll just naturally be good in another sport because I'm a God-given athlete. Newsflash. Here's the thing. You can fight a mediocre boxer who's been boxing his whole life or for the last 10 to 15 years, and you can have all the natural ability you want and come in there and get knocked out by a boxer who always lose to other boxers just because this is his actual craft. He lives and breathes this. And bro, when he seen how Nate opened up and throw his punches and leave his hand, he said, "Oh, this is a boxer's dream." And so it was like it was nothing for him to land his shots. And Nate learned the one lesson that y'all didn't mention that I learned. Getting hit with boxing gloves without headgear is unlike any other experience on this planet.
I know how I feel. Trust me.
You know what's crazy? I thought you was gonna say something different. I'm glad you did. Because I believe Nick Robinson can actually fight. Like
possibly,
he just can't box.
That's exactly, and he learned that lesson. Because I believe if I had to go in, get in a squabble with Nate can hold his own. We can get.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would be proud that I got Nate on my side.
And you know why I know Nate can fight? Because how tall is Nate? 5'10", 5'9"?
Yeah. All his life he had to fight.
He's 5'9", played college football and college basketball, and went pro. And 5'9" Nate. He's had to prove all my life I had to fight. So I know he can fight on the street, but it's different. It's different when you are in a ring.
Science.
That shit that he did to Jake Paul, that was a fighter going against a boxer. And guess what? You got your ass knocked out because a boxer gonna know, okay, I'm gonna find my range and I'm putting everything on your chin. And we all know the chin is the ejectocito button. It's gonna take your legs right away. So he got his ass whooped. And don't ever push it again.
And pugilist. It's a difference between a pugilist and a fighter. It's two different things.
Spell that.
you spell it.
I can't.
So we're not gonna stay this long, but let's talk about, did the weight difference actually play a part? Because Chris Brooks said weight difference, man. Jake Paul wrestled. He's saying so. Jake Paul is the
weight difference didn't mean nothing because he just hit him clean. It wasn't like
he wasn't leaning on him. It wasn't holding. It
didn't go to the championship rounds, and he just been laying on him all fight to tire him out. He hit that motherfucker with 8 punches.
Okay, and I need this Facebook user to give StreamYard permission so we can see your name. He didn't resort to training. He learned. He didn't protect himself at all.
Let me jump in here real quick.
Okay.
You can't say he didn't resort to the training he learned because he wasn't. This ain't his craft. Not something that he's doing his entire life. The real reason why we look every single year we heard, Tim Tebow fixed his throwing motion. He came back in the game. That motherfucker couldn't hit the broadside of a motherfucking barn. You know why? Because that's something that he's been doing his entire life. Nate been street fighting his entire life. He ain't been boxing his entire life.
But hold on now. Once again, we gave Nate credit for being actually saying he can fight. Ain't nowhere in the world that you leaving your facial exposure in any fight. Bro, like your boxing stance and
the thing is, his guard might not be like that. But his guard was not like that. Number one, but it's also like you've been sparring with regular. Now you're getting in here with a real boxer who's protect yourself at all times. They done said it. It's too late, and now you realize the speed of this man's hand and the speed of the way that you move and put your guard up is not adequate enough. So like Sean Hurt said. It's a sweet science to it. So it's like he could have tried everything his trainer said. He wasn't an expert at that stuff. To AJ's point, because he hasn't done it long enough.
Yeah, I get
here. When you watch a real boxing match and somebody get dropped and they get back on their feet with time left in the round, what do? They clinch.
Hold. Yeah, they got to survive.
What did Nate do? Put his head down and try and throw more punches.
Whoa. Because that's what he knows. He knows that's all he knows. He knows.
I guarantee you that ain't what they trained though.
What I'm talking about was his stance. His stance was all awful from the jump. Like,
yeah, it was wide.
I know for a fact, I'm giving his trainer some credit. I know his trainer's like, hey, come on, Nate.
But like AJ's saying, if you've fought a lot of fights in your life, Nate, I'm gonna just assume as a black man, Nate has had at least 20 fights in his lifetime. 10 to 20 real fights. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And now he has his first official boxing fight. And you think when the blows get defined, he's gonna resort to his real fighting stance because he ain't boxed enough for that to have that muscle memory yet.
Bro, you just
I can't buy the reach play the difference because it's like he just like whooping him on the outside. Nate was charging him and everything.
And it wasn't like he beat him a long time. It's
exactly and the final knock, like he hit him with that overhand right. Nate was charging in. It wasn't like he, was like taking some straight rights and stuff like that. He was just beating them up from distance. No, they was close. Like he hit him with a hook. The uppercut, I believe. It was some short range punches. So I don't think the reach played a difference. I just think that
it was the expertise.
That shit definitely played a difference, bro. That was the reason why Nate was rushing him because he didn't have the reach.
Okay, when you put it like that I can see that point.
You're not short, bro. Like you're not short, and obviously, I'm just being honest right now. You're not short. So most of the people that you fought, either they haven't been that much taller than you.
Mm-hmm.
Their reach haven't been that much crazy. Like you're not fighting Shaq. Like you know what I'm saying. You fighting people at your height. Like I'm short. I've had to rush a few people, or if not, I'm getting snuffed. Like,
but here's my thing: rushing in boxing don't work, especially if your hands are at your belly button.
That's two different things, though. You're saying though, that's two different things. He had to rush him because he didn't have the reach. You feel okay? Jake Paul had.
Hey, put that comment up there. Tell Sean, and look, I'm going all the way back to childhood for that one, man.
Bro,
you got about 20 of them, bro. You get at least 10. You get at least 10 of them by the time you're 10.
That is a lot of fights, bro.
Bro,
it is. But
you didn't have about 2 fights a year in elementary school.
Let me ask you this, Cannon. Do you add the amount of each person that jumped you? Because if I count every person that jumped me, I can be about 2.
I've only been jumped once, and it was only 2 people, and they lost. So it's like I don't know. But what I'm saying is, like in elementary school, I wasn't trying to get into a lot of fights, but it's like I got suspended at least twice a year for fights. Then you fought your brothers, and I don't count the cousins. Your cousins. So I'm saying like 20, 14. That's not a bad number. Is 20 a bad number?
If you think about that's a high number,
that's
bro.
That's a high number.
But think about fights. You've been in at least 10, Hill.
I probably
damn near fought me 3 or 4 times.
I'm different.
So you ain't got what, bro? You're just an average person.
No. Because that don't make it right. Like me.
I'm not saying this is right. I'm just saying Nate probably done. All right, well, I'll say let's give him 10. He done had 10 fights.
Me having 20 is understandable out of the 3 of us right here. You having 20 is wild.
That's like crazy.
No, because before, like, I'm reserved now. That's the thing. Like, I used to be an argumentative person. And as a kid, and that's the reason why I'm reserved now is because I got to the point where I don't want to fight no more.
Relax.
He got slap box jumped. Hey, Eric, how tall are you?
And he said, definitely rush me though. That's the part that took me.
No, is Eric taller than you?
Yes.
Oh,
Eric may be taller than you, I believe.
God damn.
Yeah, Eric may be taller than you. But We done with.
I'm gonna tell you what you're not about to do, Eric. If you come in here like Jake Paul, like, hey, we still the host of this, just to let you know. Keep those comments.
I missed what. Oh yeah. Speaking of Jake Paul, Eric did say Jake Paul talking crazy too now.
So look, here's my thing. He is talking tough, but I know y'all at least got in one fight a year at school, so that's 12 coming out of high school.
Nah, I couldn't, because I know, bro. I'm telling you, if I got into a fight, that means I'm getting into another fight when I get home. And I can't throw no punches.
Used to happen.
No.
If
I get into a fight, I gotta come home, and my mama gonna whoop my ass, and I can't fight her.
I got whipped at home, but no. Ask Alvin. Alvin normally being this. Ask Alvin. I got into a lot of fights, bro. I was the dude that, bro, I fought at the bus stop. I
did too. I
fought my next door neighbor, my best friend.
I done fought all them, but it still ain't 20. It might be. We might be like at 10.
I'm 20 plus for sure.
Shit.
I fought my brothers, bro. Like, we fought a lot. We fought
to him, Floyd.
Me and Eder fought like every weekend, but outside of that, I got into I got into a couple fights in high school, and then I got jumped twice in LA, and then I got jumped at JMU. And that JMU.
That's 5, right? You look, that's 5 in your adulthood.
Talk to.
You acting like you ain't now. Now let's think about 3rd grade. You don't even recollect that.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't count. Like, if I wasn't a teenager, I don't.
Okay, all right. So if you start from a teenager, then I take away the 20. I said when Sean first said that, I said from your whole life, and that's why I said so. That's why I said Nate reverted back to that. You feel me? He reverted back to that because he's been doing that his whole life. As a man, no, Nate should not be in 20 fights. But I'm just saying, since he been, my win-loss, I'm about 12 to 10. I ain't gonna lie. I took some L's, especially my cousin Ty. And I will say, one fight, I fought a white boy, my homeboy Bobby Dodd. He be up here in the group. So I fought him 3 times growing up. And I won once, he won once, and we draw once. But
okay, Tyson Fury and Wilder.
That was the most like that. He was my hardest match because nobody will ever jump into those fights and break it up. So me and him will fight for like 5 or 6 minutes. So like we was really winded. And the one time that he did win against me, he threw sand in my eye. So I really don't count that one. But he got me, and it was on the sandbox, and that was fair because I would have done it to him. I ain't gonna lie if I had the chance.
But say y'all keep playing.
And ain't no way I'm fighting for 5 minutes. I can't even have sex for 5 minutes.
Bro, this was back in the day, and I was gassed. And another dude, I took an L on that same playground. This big dude named Chubb, he stole my football. It was a Maryland Terps football. My mom said, if you don't bring that football home, that's your. So I said, look, Chubb, you gotta get my football, man. And I tried to take it. He hit me, and then I tackled him down, and I had him on the ground, and he reached up and did one of these joints, which is like the wackest punch of all time, just a bing, just like that. But it hit me dead. No, it hit me dead in my eye, bro, and I started seeing 2 of him. And so he ended up getting the best of me. And then look, and so Cannon ended up fighting him later for my football, and Cannon broke his nose. Cannon was undefeated. Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, he had a one-hitter quitter, like from Fight Club. And every time it was dead accurate. He broke 3 noses, bro, all on the first try.
Can we get to the real fight this weekend?
I mean, our fights was better than that, but we can get to that one.
We get to the
Oh, you talking about Spence? I thought you were talking about Tyson.
For sure. Tyson, yeah. No, hell no. We just going straight to Spence. We got all right. Let's get to it. We got a real fight this weekend. Championship on the line. Errol Spence Jr. returns. Danny Garcia. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
Man, I'm really interested to see how Spence come back from this accident. Because bro, like we've all seen this accident, you know. My man, he got to be thankful just to be alive. So to hop back in the ring like this, I know it's taking time, but real interested to see how he looks, because not only ring rust is a thing, but sometimes I think it gets overblown.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's gonna play a part. But just knowing how Danny Garcia is, I think that Spence is going to get the fight. Like, he's gonna win it, but I don't think he's gonna look dominant. And I think those early rounds are gonna.
He could. It depends on which Danny shows up. I'll get to that.
No, I get that. I just don't think that me seeing what I've seen from Danny throughout his career.
Yeah.
When it comes to it comes to the money, when
he's been a letdown. He's been a letdown.
When it's game time, when this is your shot to prove that you belong in the conversation.
Yeah.
I've always seen him come up short.
He did not show up against Sean Porter at all.
Exactly.
Sean Porter dominated that man.
And then Spence is not your normal welterweight. Spence could go up a class or two and still be competitive with his size that he has. So I think that he'll be able to lean on, along with that power that he has. And I think if he goes to the body, he can. I don't see early to mid round knockout. I don't even know if I see him knocking Danny out. I just think he's going to drag him into the late rounds and really start to get in his groove in the later rounds.
His clean shots.
And then start taking some of those rounds in the end. So I think it's actually going to be a really competitive fight, just because of, Danny being Danny. He's not just going to go out easy, but I think Spence towards the end is going to just pull it away.
Can I, where we got Sean Hurt said, Danny Garcia, Spence should have took a tune-up fight, and then we got another user. I agree with Sean.
Sean could be right though. Now,
and I'm gonna say why. Let me go. I'm sorry, Kenny. I believe that he shouldn't have took a tune-up fight. That's why I'm commending him for this, because they're both going to have ring rust. COVID actually saved Errol Spence, in my opinion. Because this fight would have been a lot sooner.
Yeah, that's
than it was supposed to be. And he said he's been ready. I seen his interview on All the Smoke. He's been ready. He's been taking blows to the face. So he feels that he can handle a punch. And everything is cool till you actually do get punched in the face. But I do feel that the COVID pandemic pushing it back actually benefits Errol Spence recovery in this sense. We haven't seen a great Danny Garcia in a while. So he's going to have to deal with ring rust as well. So this a tune-up fight, it might have been beneficial, but the fact that I respect Errol Spence so much is because this is how you really truly do a get-back season. You take a quality fighter that you probably would have dominated without the accident. If they didn't fought right after the accident, we would have had him beating the brakes off Danny Garcia. Let's be honest. So now you take a Danny Garcia, a credible fighter, right after your accident, and you actually fight. This is the true definition of get back season. We ain't ducking no smoke. Man down, Errol Spence. Let's go.
No, I wholeheartedly feel you on that.
I definitely feel you.
Yeah, and by tune-up, I get what you're saying. I think as far as a tune-up, I don't think Spence should have hopped in with some of the other upper echelon 147 right off the accident. So technically, him being the king of the hill at 147, anybody that's not in tier A can kind of be considered a tune-up. Dan is kind of like that B-level welterweight. So, I mean, it's a challenge, but it's one of those fighters where.
But he just was A-level prior to the Sean Porter loss, and so my thing about Spence. I mean, he was up for everything. Like he could have took whatever fight he wanted prior to that loss. Like he didn't have a lot of loss, and that was just like it was the Keith Thurman. That was a questionable loss, and a lot of people was like, okay, you lost to Thurman, but we felt like Danny was in that fight. But everybody knew that Sean Porter won the Danny Garcia fight. It was no controversy. He clearly won it, and so now. You put him like, okay, I don't really want Spence to fight Danny Garcia. Like Hill said, if it was in a perfect world and there was no accident. Now, what I will say, when I was in 11th grade, I was in a car accident. It flipped 6 times. I broke my pelvis. I know about being on that pavement. And what I will say as a man, as I was healing up and I'm getting off crutches and stuff, I'm telling everybody I'm good. But I will tell you for real, it was about 5 or 6 years until like there was, I couldn't feel certain parts of my face for a long time just because of the impact. Like when I slammed into the window, and like my lip and all that just used to be numb for like mad years after that accident. And it's, you feel me? So it's like it really changed me. It changed a lot about me now. I'm not no world star athlete, but what I will say is I kind of agree with Sean when I felt like, I hate tune-up fights here, but I don't feel like this is a typical injury. This is not like, oh, Keith Thurman, I had elbow surgery. I was supposed to have the surgery. I did my training. I should be back now. This is injuries all over his body. Some of those injuries weren't accounted for, and some of them he didn't even tell a doctor about. Same thing with me. Was no point for me to tell a doctor, like, if I touch right here, I can't feel nothing. Like, what they gonna do about that? It's nothing. I was just glad that my face healed.
And so let me just say this. I understand why y'all don't like tune-up fights, but one thing, like I always told y'all before, it's not like another sport where you kind of have other people to kind of spell you and take a break from.
No, I get it.
This is boxing. If you're not 100% right, it's possible that you are going to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't mind the tune-up fight to get in there and say like, okay, is my body right? Can I still produce the same hand speed or the same power, or will my legs get tired? Will I still be able to take a punch? Because I haven't taken a punch and I don't know how long
since I landed on concrete.
Exactly. Not even just concrete. Since like I got off the table, like you brought up Keith Thurman. Say if Keith Thurman's in a fight and he just had elbow surgery.
Mm-hmm.
What's one thing that people do to get you to lower your hands? If they can't get to you, they gonna hit your elbows.
Yeah,
they gonna hit your arms. Like, can I withstand that and still protect myself? So I don't mind a tune-up fight. It's a difference between a tune-up fight and ducking.
Bad, man. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't understand. I don't dislike tune-up fights because I understand tune-up fight. I just like the fact how you go about some of your tune-up fights.
Yeah, and I like how you went about this.
Because I understand that people come off injuries and they on a minute restriction or they on a snap count. So I understand that aspect. But don't come and be like, I'm not going to go on a whole long tangent about Keith Thurman because what's the point? It's been proven. But it's like the way that he went about it was just wrong. And I didn't agree with the way he went about that.
Yeah, because the reason why I'm 100% with you. The reason why I'm with you is because he was still cocky, and I understand because he still had a belt. He still had a belt. But my whole thing is, don't be cocky and then say I'm waiting. Like,
super avoidance, right?
Yeah.
And you don't like Devin Haney, but Devin Haney had shoulder surgery and came out and fought Gamboa, which is one of his toughest opponents yet.
I'm
messing with you, bro.
Okay.
That's to my point. Like, it's about how you go about it, right here. So it's like Devin Haney had the surgery. He could have said duck and play around and take these contenders because he got a belt. But he said, nah, I want a real contender. Somebody that all of these other people have fought and know is a tough win.
Like Jared Hurd. He had an injury. He was on get back season, and he made sure
he should have took a tune-up.
But he was in
that. he should have fought a mechanic.
But what I'm saying, he made it known what he was doing. He like, listen, I'm on get back season. Yeah. I'm on get back season. I'm trying to work my way up.
And he ain't throwing no punches. He ain't throwing no punches.
It didn't work out in his favor. I get that, but I understood what he was doing. He wasn't just like Keith Thurman at every press conference talking about, I can knock you out, I can beat you, I can beat you.
And then wouldn't take no fights.
Yeah, when you gonna fight? Hell now.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Keith Thurman was on a media tour.
That's what my issue with the get back season with, and that's why. But like I stated,
I'm with you on that. Yeah, my whole thing is just saying where we just like, because I was just like, yo, I understand him not fighting nobody right now.
So we gonna wait to the result to see what they go from now, or
what you mean?
Are we going to wait till the result of the fight, Spence and Garcia fight to see where they go from here, or are we going to go now with it?
So I got Spence.
Now. Yeah.
I got Spence, and I think Danny Garcia will fight AB after he loses.
Now I got Spence also, but like I told Hill, I'm not writing Danny off because I used to be a Danny fan, but I had the Danny that I was a fan of. I haven't seen him.
I remember.
I haven't seen that. Yeah. I haven't seen that dude. So it's like what you did against Thurman, what you did against Sean Porter. It looked like a guy just trying to get paid. Now I've been watching some of the videos, and it looked like he's trained hard for this fight. But here's the thing with video: they can make me look like I trained hard. So it's like, come on now. So it's like, I'm not going to believe it till I actually get in there. What I will say is that Spence Porter fight, I saw two boxers in there really putting it on the line. And I hope that this Danny Garcia fight could live up to that, because Danny had promise. And one thing that Danny does have that you can't take away is power. And with Spence coming off of, that brutal accident, we don't know how it is going to be for him to get hit with power. We saw Sean Porter hurt Spence a few times, probably more than we ever seen it. So he's human, it's possible. So, I just hope Danny's focused. I hope we get a good fight, because I feel like I'm going to have to pay for this fight, and I don't want to pay for trash. I really don't. Why is that funny?
No, this is funny.
Oh.
That's funny.
Because exactly with what you said. He like, the videos made.
Everything. It looked good.
Yeah, that's what made it funny. I wasn't
that's a fact, because the videos they put montage, they edit it, got you sweating, pumping iron, making Danny look like, and really that was 5 minutes. You feel me?
They put together a highlight tape and made Jogging Bender look like a top 5 draft pick. They can make anybody look good.
You know what I'm saying? They can make them highlights a lot to you. Them highlights a lot to you, boy. I tell you. I got Spence as well. It's gonna go. You gonna get the decision. Like you said, ring rust is real, but both of them are going to have to deal with it. Like you said, Danny Garcia does have power that you can't take that away from him. He can hit you.
True.
And like you said, you ain't been hit in the face for real, Spence. So so you might have been ready. You might have thought you was ready. Sparring is different.
Yeah, it is.
Sparring is different. You're gonna get hit, and I want you to see if you can take that punch. I believe that you can take the punch, and as well. I agree with you, AJ. Danny's definitely going to take AB. That's going to be a good payday for him. Good tune-up fight for somebody else. But I think Spence gonna move up after this.
I'm done with. I don't want nobody fighting AB, man. I'm done with AB.
But like that Garcia fight, that Garcia AB fight, quiet as it's kept, is gonna make money because they both are gonna promote. Especially
they can promote. They can promote.
Pops and then AB in a fight, just the trash talking alone is going to be able to sell that fight, and we're gonna watch that and be like, But the build up to it is gonna be so good. You're gonna be like, okay. Because they both gonna sell. They both can sell. Both camps can sell a fight.
I believe that. I mean, me personally, I want to see Spence versus Terrence Crawford. I want to see that. I
don't think that will ever happen. I've given up on it, bro. And now that's why I say now, Bud is on the outs with Bob Arum. And so if Bud can follow through with that and leave, Bob Arum Promotions, we might see that fight. But it's just not in Bob Arum's best interest for him to. I've been listening to AJ, and as much as I don't like it, it's a blueprint. And Bob Arum's not new. Like, he's been around since Don King. This is his MO. So it's like, why would I think that he's going to put his top fighter against another promoter's top fighter? That's not his MO. So it's like, if he does put him against another promoter, it's going to be his lesser fighters. Sorry, not going to don't want my prize dog against your prize dog, because if my prize dog lose, then how am I going to eat? And that's Aram's thinking.
I think what will be the next super fight. What do you mean, Sean? What do you mean Crawford ain't
he's at 147.
He's already at 147.
Yeah.
147
he's a welterweight king.
Because he wants Spence. But the reason why I don't think he's gonna get Spence, because as much as he wants him, once again, like I said, Spence is not he's not at 147. Like, this is gonna move up.
I still will have Bud. I still got Bud and man, but if it was them two, I'm taking Bud. And I know Spence is a bigger guy, but I just feel like if Spence make weight, Bud can win.
But here's my thing. I've seen, and I know they're not the same. I know they're different fighters, and Bud is more aggressive. But at 147, I think it's going to be
ready to end it. He gonna end it.
But no, I think it'll be similar to that Mikey Garcia Spence fight, where it's just he's too much.
I don't think so. Bud ain't that small.
He came up for Mikey Garcia division.
Nah, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, Bud been fighting at 147 a lot, so it's like Mikey. That was his first fight. Like, you should have never jumped up and fight the best in the class. That was just dumb. But to Mikey's point, Mikey was on a long layoff and he needed a payday. He hadn't gotten paid in 2 years when he took that fight. So I would have took it too if I could have promoted it. But I think he knew deep down that he couldn't beat Spence. It's just too big for him. But Bud has been at this weight longer. So it's like, I feel like he could have a legitimate shot.
From some of these talks, it seems like obviously Spence ready. He's trying to work his way up to get Canelo. And
don't do that. Don't do that.
And that's what I was about to say when Eric put this in here. Tank and Ryan Garcia is not a super fight.
That's not.
Spence and Canelo is going to be a super fight.
I don't want to even see that though, because you're not that big, Spence. Like, you are a big guy, but that 160 is different, bro. Because Canelo walking around at 175, 180.
Exactly. He will find. I think he will find out before
Canelo hit like a heavyweight, bro. Let's
he will
be
find
real.
out beforehand, and he gonna have to take some fights before they get there.
You better.
But that's a big. I don't. Me personally, I don't know who. I don't know what.
That's two weight classes.
But I'm gonna tell you like this. The difference from like a feather up to welter and stuff like that versus welter up to just middleweight is completely different, because once you get up to 154,
they killing you, bro.
It's that the power exponentially grows.
The Charlos
and I'm not like the Charlos. I'm still iffy on them, but Spence, because they are from Texas, he wouldn't fight the Charlos.
And that's why he don't want to go to 154. But Canelo is not a smart career player.
Because for Canelo, it's not smart for Canelo to come down back to 154.
Oh no,
if anything, Canelo is going to stay
at 160.
I'm about to say Canelo's going to stay at 160 because
Canelo,
he can go above 160, but Canelo ain't going back down to 154. So y'all can
Canelo is a big dude.
Y'all could try and do a catch weight somewhere in the middle. But Canelo's not fighting that one.
I don't like catch weight fights.
So I got a question. For y'all. So who's the bigger fight for Canelo?
I mean, out of who?
Period.
Spence would be a super fight, like AJ said.
So that is
probably the biggest fight in boxing if they could do it now. Not now because he's fighting Garcia next year, or a year and a half, because they're in their prime. But Canelo's been in his prime for a few years now, so it's like, how long is his prime going to last?
And that's what I'm asking.
It has to happen in the next year and a half. But that's definitely a super fight, like AJ said. AJ,
because I got an explanation for why I asked that.
So I mean, we all know, like, he's went up and he beat the shit out of Sergey Kovalev. It was an older Sergey Kovalev.
Beat it. Don't matter.
But I think, this Callum Smith fight is going to be pretty good. But
yeah,
there's people out there, like, you got Boo Boo Andre, you got, I think the the Charlo brothers will get him money, but it's not gonna be his. Like, it's not gonna be tough for him.
Nah, I don't want to see Charlo and Canelo.
Canelo, he too polished for all three of them.
He's polished. Did you, man? His last fight, the way his defense, he was looking like Floyd. The way he was dodging punches and not letting nothing hit him.
So what y'all just told me, nobody's going to be a bigger draw for either one of these individuals than each other.
That's what I said. That's why I said this is going to be the next super fight, not Tank and Ryan Garcia.
But
to Hill's point, to Cannon's point, Cannon is like, I don't really want to see it because of how polished and the power that Canelo brings.
Now, there was a canceled Canelo fight, and it escapes me right now. But that was a good fight.
It was a good fight.
And I can't remember who it was, but it was before he broke with DAZN. And they were supposed to have it. They had just agreed to a fight, and it was supposed to be a good fight. Now we know this next fight is pretty much Canelo all the way.
But my thing about this fight, right, is Spence has a connection with Jerry Jones. AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we're in the pandemic right now, but once the pandemic is over, and he's already been putting fans in the stadium, he just had 30,000 in Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so and it's a vaccine coming out.
They're going to pack this building. He's going to try to pack a building out,
with vaccinated people.
But who you going to pack that up? If they fight Canelo and Spence, they're going to pack that building out. That's money for everybody.
And the pay-per-view is probably going to be the most viewed fight.
So I'm asking. Okay, boom. Spence just had this accident. What is his end game? Is he ready for his paydays and ready to get out? Because he changed his method.
He said that he wants to unify. He wants to be the undisputed welterweight champion of the world before he conquers other divisions. That's what he said.
He's not ducking no smoke, but he's also been taking big. He want big money fights.
Yeah.
So he was gonna fight Pacquiao before the accident.
So. Yeah. What I'll say, the biggest fight in boxing right now would be Canelo Alvarez versus Errol Spence. But for Canelo, the best possible fights was the fight that Canelo possibly had with Caleb Plant at middleweight.
Why didn't you just say that when I asked it, bro?
It would be Caleb Plant at super middleweight,
thank you. That's a fight, bro.
Or at light heavyweight at the division that he beat Sergey Kovalev with Artur Beterbiev. That's a good fight. Those two fights won't sell as much, but they'd be better fights for Canelo.
But Caleb Plant is definitely on his way and might have the best chance to maybe defeat Canelo,
right,
compared to anybody else.
But the thing is, it's not going to be Canelo most.
You broke up.
He said it won't go get Canelo the most money. I don't think Canelo has.
Oh yeah, which is why it would have worked under the zone agreement, but now it's messed up. So now he's on a fight per fight basis. So now he got to get all the money he can. Now it doesn't make sense. So.
Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-man wing. We come at you with topics. No, you cannot stop it.